So Jeff, it looks like there may be some rain and wind in the forecast. How are you guys preparing for that?
Well, that's not ideal, of course, but that's part of the business, especially in November. For the last 3 days, we've had numerous periods of wet ball drills with our skilled players and position guys, and you gotta learn how to handle it. You gotta learn how to throw it and catch it, and use your body and coddle it in, and use every part of your mechanism that you can to catch the ball. And on defense, it's about trying to get it out and keeping your feet and all those things. So yeah, it's you'll have to be aware of it, and you'll have to make sure that you're doing whatever you can not to turn it over, because that'll be critical.
Can you prepare for wind?
Well, that one's a little harder to prepare for. I think when it's windy, you've got to gauge which direction you're going, which way the wind is coming at you, with you, across the field. And you'll have to adjust some things without question. But we've had a couple element games before, haven't done real well on them. So we've got to, learn from those games and figure out, what we need to do to try to move the ball, but yet, be a little safe to make sure that we're not creating a lot of mistakes. I know we played Illinois a couple years ago, and just us turn the ball over game to game, where if we just do our part and have some patience and not turn it over, we're in the game to the end. So there's got to be that perfect complement of that compared to aggression, to making sure that you're trying to score.
Yeah, you won't know till game time or that morning what the wind conditions are like, but does that affect the coin toss and what you may do or may not do in that situation when those kind of elements factor into the equation?
Yeah, it does. We definitely gauge how the weather is then. What's it look like for the second half? Is it going to clear up? Is it going to get worse? What's the wind's going to be? So yes, that will factor into it.
Who does that for you guys? Who gives you your reports?
Well, Kyle Gergley, our head equipment guy, keeps us abreast quite a bit on that. And then, we have our own phone. Everybody has their own phones now, so you kind of have it in your pocket and you have an idea of what's going to happen. But I know he calls into the National Weather Service, and we try to get an expert's opinion. And you know how that is. Sometimes they're correct, sometimes they're not. But we explore every avenue we can.
Is, I guess, King DeRue still unlikely? Any update on him? And Dylan Downey, you think he'll be, you said he was a maybe, I think, on Monday?
Yeah, King will be out. We'll hopefully Dylan can play. We're optimistic. Come game time, he'll be ready to go.
Will you get your starters back in the secondary this week?
You know what? We've had around a handful of guys out a little longer than I think, but I think most of those handful were able to do at least something today and progress tomorrow, and hopefully not any setbacks where they can play in the game.
But do you feel like you're prepared now with other guys working that position that you'll have some guys there ready to go?
We've prepared for all options, and a lot of guys have worked different spots, and we have different avenues to go with every scenario. So yes, and now sometimes it's not the best scenario that we can have, but we have worked quite a few, and I think that we're prepared for quite a few people to play or not play.
So Jamari Brown and Corey Trice are going to play.
I'm optimistic that unless they have a setback, that they should be able to play. They were able to do some things today.
What about Brock Thompson?
He will not play.
Anything else? All right.